Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you for clicking. Today I'm going to do the all-time Armani Code flankers comparison. So this is a legendary, iconic men's perfume line, which was launched back in 2004, the original OG Armani Code. So at the time of the launch, Armani was having Acqua di Gio, which is very suitable for outdoor kind of the fresh fragrance, and also Mania. To me, I consider it's a very good office scent. So obviously at that time, Armani needs something a little bit more seductive and more suitable for a nighttime sexy fragrance. So that's how Armani Code Original 1 was introduced to the market back in 2004. And ever since, now we are in 2023, almost 20 years, there's been lots of different flankers has been launched. So according to my little research, so far there have been 21 editions of the Armani Code has been introduced to the market. Among 21, there are actually 19 juices because there are two are just a package change, special edition, which is Casino, and a Golden edition. So today's video, we're gonna cover 11 editions because the other 8 are basically Armani Code Summer and Sports line. And also another one is Turquoise Armani Code. And the reason why these are not included is because first of all, they are completely composed in a different way by a different perfumer, which is Jacques Cavalier. And one of the most signature notes of Armani Code, which is Tonka Bean, has completely disappeared from those aforementioned ones. So today, the comparison we're focusing on this 11th edition, which try to contain that signature code DNA, but in different variations. So let's start with the video. So before we start, again, I want to briefly talk about the olfactory pyramid of Armani Code. So Armani Code OG starts with the freshness of the bergamot, and then evolving to the heart note, which is very, very unique, is star anise. So it gets that kind of the bit mysterious, spicy feeling to it, and then settle down with the Tonka beans. So the Tonka bean is the base that provides the warmth and the sexiness to the whole Armani Code universe. And I was wearing that a lot back in 2006, 7, and 8. And it always gave me that kind of the sexiness and the magnetic kind of the seduction feeling. And also when the first commercial code was launched, the slogan was the ultimate code of seduction. So you can imagine how the brand wants to market this fragrance. So this is the OG Armani Code. The funny thing is actually when it was first introduced back in 2004, the name of it is actually called Armani Black Code. And just after like 1 year of the launch, like just simplify the name from Black Code to just Code. So I guess it's a good approach because it's actually easier to remember and it's also more powerful in a way. So that means if you got a package that has the Black Code name on it, meaning that you actually got the very first batches of the Armani Code. It's a vintage Armani Code. So that starts with this one. Yeah, so it bursts out with the freshness of the bergamot, and then actually I try this fragrance these days a lot, and then settle down to this very unique anise, and then go down to the base note, which is Tonka beans. But the thing is, like, this one I got is the original batch, but after all these years, you know, there's a lot of regulation changes in the fragrance industry. So the brands and the perfumers have to reformulate the juices. So I also got like the 2019 batches of the original Armani Code. And the thing is like, it has actually toned down quite a lot. And the biggest difference is that the anise note just kind of disappeared. So it still starts with that freshness of the bergamot, which is quite identical to the original Armani Code. But once it starts to settle down, the spiciness and that kind of the mysterious factors of the original Armani Code, it seems to disappear. So it ends up actually become quite like a soapy, gray smell, masculine cologne. So it's kind of a little bit unfortunate because it would have been better if that original anise Code was still there. But through the reformulation, it's kind of like a sacrifice, a compromise to what it can be done. So, but still, you can still feel it's Armani Code, but it's just like the depth of the juices has been a little bit lack of the original characteristic of the OG one. Yeah, so the first flanker being introduced to the line was back in 2012, which is this one, Armani Code Ultimate. So the Ultimate, what is the differences versus the original Armani Code? Actually, it keeps quite well all the basic DNA of the OG Armani Code, but everything just becomes a bit richer. And once it settles down, the obvious differences you can tell is it does have a little bit more of the powdery finish when it comes to the base note. So according to what I look for the notes, the ultimate one in the base note, like adding to the vanilla. The vanilla is the new ingredients that does not appear in the OG but starts to adding in the ultimate. So I guess that is the reason why you do feel that additional creaminess, powdery touch, but still the middle note has the anise. So it's still very much similar to the original OG, but it has that kind of the additional warmth and the thickness to the fragrance, which is very, very good. I actually appreciate the production, the creations of Armani Code Ultimate a lot. And then in 2014, another flanker has been introduced to the market, which is called Armani Code Ice. The package is very beautiful with the shiny silver. This one, now if you look back to all the flanker, it's actually a pretty special one. Why? Because this is the only Armani Code flanker that's not composed by neither the original perfumer Antoine Lien or the rest of the flanker, which was later being composed by Antoine Maisondieu. This one is composed by the maestro, the master of the freshness, the owner creators of the Acqua di Gio, the master Alberto Moreiras. So this one is very, very different. The opening was very different from the OG because instead of the bergamot, it actually used mint, ginger, and lemon. So when you spray it, you do feel there is that kind of icy freshness bursts out to it, which is very, very uplifting. And then in the middle note, it transformed into lavender and sage, which is quite like a herbal touch of it. And then in the base note, it still has the tonka beans. So compared to other summer releases, which is not being mentioned in the video, they changed the tonka bean all to vetiver. So you do feel this one, even though it's targeted more like a refreshing freshness summer use, but it does appears to be having that kind of the Armani Code original DNA. So this one is very good for summer use. And then the next one actually is 2015 with the Armani Code Special Blend. But that is the only flanker I failed to get. I wish I could find a way to get it because now on the eBay price are super rocket high. But anyway, if you want to donate or if you want to sell me Armani Code special blend with the reasonable price, I'm so welcome. You can leave a message down there, and I'll be love to acquire that one for you to complete my collections of Armani Code. And then in 2016, it is the start of the crazy flanker launch from the line. So from 2016 to now, 2023, every year we have a new addition to Armani Code line. And 2016 is actually already 12 years after the OG launch. So I guess the brands also need to modernize a little bit of the juices to fit into the new trend in the market of the men's fragrance. And if you remember, if you familiar with the trend of the popular masculine fragrances in like late 2010s, there is starting to have this gourmet trend. So from 2016 till the recent launch, you do most of the flankers have adding to additional sweetness to it by using different kinds of the new ingredients, adding to the original compositions of the Code DNA. So this one, 2016, was the launch of Armani Code Profumo. So Profumo, delicious. So Armani Code Profumo starts with the different top notes. Instead of bergamot, they choose green apple and green mandarin. So, and especially for this one, I feel like the green apple note is probably a bit more obvious to notice than the mandarin notes. So it does have a kind of the apple sweetness in it. And then the middle note, anise. Listen, anise has been officially disappeared from this one. So that is how you starting, if you compare with all these flanker from this one, you do feel there is a little bit deviation versus the original Armani Code because of the disappearance of the anise notes in it. Instead, they put nutmeg and lavender into this one. But I think the most unique of the Armani Code Profumo is its base note, because its base note adding a lot of the amber on top of the Tonka Bean. So once it settles down to the base note, it becomes really amberish. So it has that kind of the really cooperish scent, kind of the cooperish color of the sweetness, and it also smells really deep and warm, which I found is really nice. So this one also, the longevity, silage, and projection are really good. So it's a very potent flanker in terms of the performance of the juice. And then in 2017, a different flanker called Armani Code Colonia was launched. So this one, as you can tell from the color of the bottle, this kind of the Mediterranean, light, transparent blue. So you can imagine that the angle for this one is about freshness. And I love the commercial of this one by Chris Pine, which is like, I love the script. It's very sexy and very unique. And this one, it is very special. It starts with the bergamot again, like the original one. But then the funny thing is in the middle note, because in the middle note, they put a lot of like orange blossom. And then there is an ingredient I checked, is hard to pronounce. It's called amyl salicylate. And I Google it. It's actually a complex of a lot of like floral ingredients. So this one, the freshness is very aromatic and also have a little bit touch of the floral, white floral, that kind of the feeling. And then it ends up with Tonka Bean plus heliotrope. So it is another floral note in the base. So this one to me smells super refreshing and super suitable for relaxing vacation or on the relaxing weekends. You want to wear it and go out, and it's probably more daytime fragrance than most of the cold flankers are more like a nighttime fragrance. So I also love the bottle color. This one, so it was launched in 2017. Pretty unique launch. Now if you look all of the flanker at this time, that this one has a unique place to stand out. And then in 2018, another flanker called Armani Code A-List was launched. The name is kind of interesting. It's called A-List. Starting to wonder what that A stands for. So in the press release of Armani Code A-List, it says that it wants to duplicate the scent of the original Armani Code aftershave lotion. I'm just like feel a little bit perplexed. Who will ever remember what the aftershave scent of the original Armani Code smells like? Anyway, so obviously they want to create a flanker that probably is closer to the OG Armani Code. But the thing is, it's still not super close. It's very similar, but not identical. Because as I mentioned in this 2016 flanker of a Profumo, which you don't see the star anise in the middle notes anymore. So this one in the middle note, instead of star anise, they actually use lavender. And you definitely can tell that new lavender notes adding to the following of the top notes of the bergamot. So it gives me actually that kind of a bit more calm, serene, intimate touch of it. And I probably would name it like Armani Code Air if it's not using the word A-List, which A stands for air, because it has that kind of airy feeling of the OG, and it is also smells very lightweight. You don't feel the fragrance stays on your skin that thick. So probably this one is suitable for, let's say, if you're a fan of Armani Code and you want to wear Armani Code to sleep. And this one is probably a nice choice because it's not that loud and not that potent compared to the others. But you can still enjoy that kind of Armani Code sexy vibe. And in the base note, it still has the Tonka Bean. So this one is a bit more subdued variations, trying to follow the original code DNA. And then in 2019, they changed the ambassador from this year on this new launch of Armani Code Absolu to Ryan Reynolds. And also this Armani Code Absolu is also quite bold variations to all of his anterior launches. So this one, wow, is just like Profumo, is quite powerful and potent. And it also starts with the green mandarin and a green apple, just like a Profumo, but I feel like on this one, the mandarin notes is a bit more prominent than the apple note. And then in the middle notes is something where it shows its unique characteristic. It contains that kind of the rum notes. So this one gets you that kind of a bit more like the boozy vibe, which super suitable for a night out clubbing fragrance. And then it ends up, instead of the amber of this one, it ends up with the Tonka Bean plus vanilla. So like this one, it has that kind of the extra sweetness to it, but the impression and expression is quite different from the Profumo. I would say in general, like this one is really exposed, really loud. So if you want to go to a bar or a club and you want your scent to not be eaten by other people's scent, I think this one is quite powerful in order to make yourself smells good, stands out in that kind of situation. I mean, perfume can also does the same job, but this one is even stronger in my opinion. So, and I think this one also sells super well. When it was launched in Spain, I think going to the bar, going to the club, smell pretty much this type of the scent quite often. So this one is definitely a very worthy note, a mention of all the history of the Armani Code flanker. And then the next year, 2020, they launched kind of like a flanker because the name of it is called Armani Code Absolu Gold. And what is the difference versus Armani Code Absolu with the new Armani Code Absolute Gold? Wow, this one smells divino. Basically everything you have in Armani Code Absolute it has, but there is even sweeter because in the middle note, like adding to saffron plus iris. So saffron is one of the ingredients I personally really like. It's like very sexy and very sweet and at the same time very flamboyant. If you wear it, the saffron notes can never be hidden. It always stands out. So this one adding all the ingredients of the Absolute and plus those new saffron and iris notes. It does contain that kind of the Middle Eastern fragrance vibe, which is like super explosive, and you do smell a lot of things going on, but this one somehow they still managed to keep all the ingredients in harmony. So I guess it was kind of like launched in a relatively limited distribution, so probably was targeting to Middle Eastern market. I love this one because of that additional saffron tone in it. That's, if you have to choose to have just one between these two, I would definitely go for this one just because of that. So by the time this one is launched, if you now compare with the original Armani Code, it's already quite two very different scents. So I guess that is the reason why the next flanker launched in 2021, which is Armani Code Eau de Parfum. They try to go back to the similarity of the original one, but somehow there's still quite a difference on this one. This one, the reason why it cannot be called super identical or back to the OG is still because they don't put back the anise code in the middle note. So that kind of the oriental spiciness coming from the anise is still not in the structure of the juices of this one. However, because the top notes is the bergamot and the base note is the Tonka Bean, is still the same. So this one you do smell compared to these are much similar to the original Armani Code. But this one, I think it was really well done because in the base note they add the musk for the very first time plus vanilla. So the sweetness it generates is actually quite nude, quite, how do I say, compared to the sweetness of this one and then this one I feel like it's closer to the skin. Probably it's because the use of the musk. So it settles down, the sweetness settles down really soft, but you can still feel the presence. And it's not like over cloying. So I feel like there is a fine balance if you want to just add that kind of the extra sweetness to it, but you don't kill the tonka beans, the richness of the tonka bean. So this one, I think is quite a great creation at the launch of 2021, trying to duplicate the original OG, but still adding to something that could, fit into the changing taste of the mainstream fragrances. So, but unfortunately, this one I don't understand. Such a nice fragrance just launched 1 year after it's been discontinued, and in 2022, I think it's the new era of the Armani Code, because as you can tell from the bottle design, oh my god, they actually kill the original silhouette of this curved shape iconic bottle of the Armani Code, and then change to this square type of the shape. Well, even though I like, the magnetic cap, which is good, but the whole image of the Armani Code is completely transformed to the new era of Armani Code. And so the launch of the 2022 flanker is called Armani Code Parfum. And in the commercial, they even say rewrite the code. So I guess the brand wants to reinvent Armani Code to like the next era of how Armani Code, the seductive code, should smell like. And this one, is pretty different versus all of these flanker. Because even though they claim they have the bergamot in the top notes and the base note of the tonka beans, but why I feel it smells becoming so different is because in the middle note, they use iris and aldehyde. The aldehyde really changed the impression of these fragrances versus the OG a lot. You feel like there is a bit like floral, probably due to the iris, and aldehyde really brighten up the whole compositions of the Armani Code together with the tonka beans and the bergamot, everything. So it smells much more modernized. You probably can feel there's a bit of a similarity. For example, if you compare with the YSL new fragrance myself, and also the aldehyde note is the way it presents itself is also quite similar to the new flanker of the Libre by Yves Saint Laurent, the plantain one, which they also introduced the aldehyde into the middle note as key ingredients of the composition. So this one smells really bright, fresh, and it's completely different interpretation versus the original, like more dark, more mysterious interpretations on the seduction. I actually would love to wear this one more on the daytime instead of the nighttime. And actually, I wore this like a few days ago for consecutive days. That actually is when it settled down to the base note, it is really sexy, but the sexiness has a little bit of different type of the facet versus the original Armani Code. So to rewrite the code, I think the brand has done a great job. Yeah, and wow, it smells really modern. It smells really like 2023 now. As it could be like if you wear the OG now, and the people familiar with this scent will think you're wearing something vintage. But if you wear this one, I think you get that kind of effect you wanted to have from this seductive line, Armani Code, but it smells new. It smells modernized. And this year, they follow the Parfum. Sorry, I don't have the full bottle. I just have the decant sample. Armani Code Eau de Toilette. So this basically is the new version of the original Armani Code Eau de Toilette. And with the launch of this one, they basically kill the original juice for Armani Code. So now, if you mention Armani Code Eau de Toilette at this moment, 23, is this new formula. But since they're going to replace with the original one, of course they have to do it somehow as close as to the original Armani Code. And it does smell somehow like 85% similar. And according to the notes, instead of bergamot, they start notes now with mandarin. And the middle note, instead of star anise, which has been long gone since 2016 Profumo launch, they changed to lavender. And probably only identical notes, ingredient they have is the base note, which you have to keep it. It's a Tonka Bean. Like the whole Armani Code is all about Tonka Bean. Without a Tonka Bean, we're not going to discuss in this comparison. But somehow even though the note stays try to true to the original OG, but it just smells different. Identical, question mark, similar, yes, but somehow different. Basically everything becomes like lighter, and I really think without the anise, it just lack of that kind of the mysterious characteristic of the original Armani Code. So this one, something interesting to mention is that all the ingredients they use this time is all sustainable ingredients. I don't know if that's really a factor for fragrance purchaser to care about if the ingredient is sustainable or not. But this one smells fresh. It smells soapy. It's probably very close, not to the original OG, but to the original OG reformulation. Because as I mentioned before, the reformulation, I barely detect the anise note inside. So this one in the composition is already took out the anise completely by changing to lavender. So this one to the original OG Armani Code Eau de Toilette reformulated version, they are probably like 95% identical. But this one, I probably not a fan of it that much. It's because longevity is really bad, and the projection and the silage are also weak. So I'm not so sure if you want to wear something that does not last on your skin for a long time. So that would probably be my concern of the toilet, and probably something stronger will come out next year, because next year is gonna be like the 20th anniversary of the Armani Code line. And according to the current trend of the men's fragrance, and especially in the L'Oreal group, probably 2024 they are going to launch Armani Code Elixir. We don't know, well, let's see. So that's a whole comparison of all the flankers. And if you want me to choose which is my favorite, well, I've been asking this question to myself when I was preparing to record this video. It's really a hard decision to make. So I'm not going to include the OG because it's just a very special one and it's original. Nothing can compare with the original, and this is so iconic. And if you have one, keep it. If you have the vintage one, keep it. So these flankers, I probably would choose Armani Code Absolu Gold, because this one is like super strong, potent. I love it. I always love like more intense fragrances. And as a fan of the saffron notes, and this one has a kind of Middle Eastern vibe, which I found it like super attractive. I love to wear it myself when I go out to the bar, to the club. This one, it smells so fucking good. And probably I will give Colonia a special place just because of that Mediterranean floral aromatic touch of it. And I love the bottle's color, yeah. But I think for general public, probably Absolu and the Profumo. If you want to have additional flanker, apart from the original one, maybe you can try these two, because these two, compared to the original one, it just smells more trendy, not like in the early 2000s, but in the 2020s or 2000 late 10s. And they are both more intensified, stronger, and nowadays, also there is a gourmet trend which tend to make the perfume sweeter. In the original OG, it's a bit more sour compared to the sweetness. So if you want to have something that smells quite different, but retain a kind of the Tonka Bean DNA, you can go for either these one. Yeah. And but probably you can't really find in the store now because they are discontinued. So nowadays you probably can only find Armani Code Parfum and the new Eau de Toilette. And if you ask me between these two, 120%, go for the Parfum. It smells really good thanks to the iris and the aldehyde, and it smells new, fresh, modern. And although to me it's quite a different fragrances versus original Armani Code, but this one is a great one. So which one is your favorite Armani Code flanker? Feel free to leave your comments below. I would love to see which one's actually winning your heart, winning your nose. And it's kind of funny, I never realized I do have so many Armani Code flanker until like I was thinking about recording this video. So hope you like my video, and if you have any interesting opinions, just leave the comments. We can exchange some different ideas about how our love for Armani Code, the code of seduction, presented by Giorgio Armani. So thank you for watching, and probably I will upload another flanker comparison with another legendary line soon. So thank you for watching.